All right, cool. So welcome to the SLDM, everybody. One thing that I like to do and on my team and something that we do a lot in our division is just talk about things that we're grateful for. And I know you guys probably already did that a lot for Thanksgiving, but just share one thing that you are grateful for in the chat box, and then we'll get rolling here. Family, my daughter, family, J Brad. It's a good one. Good one. Your best friend, the Cutco family. Yeah, welcome to the family, Hunter. Family and friends, family and friends. You want to know what I'm grateful for, you guys? Heaters. Heaters. It's been getting cold at night, and I just turned on my heater for the first time this year. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. Imagine if we had to, like, had to create fire every time. I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. All right, loved ones and Cutco. Grateful for the double D edge. I think it's fantastic. All right. But yeah, welcome to the sales leadership development meeting. For those of you guys that haven't met me yet, I'm John Baker. I'm the assistant division manager for the South Coast Division. I'm filling in for Evan today. He's a little under the weather. So if you know Evan, send him a message to feel better and get well. I want to start off with this quote. This is a quote that that always comes to mind anytime we're hosting meetings that are optional for you guys to attend. But it says, expose yourself to as much as possible. Attend conferences no one else is attending. Read books no one else is reading, and talk to people no one else is talking to. And this is I want to applaud all of you guys for being invited to this meeting today. This is 100% an optional meeting, right? You definitely didn't have to be here, but you guys all chose to be here to either A, better your education in this position, B, to grow, and then C, to become a leader in our division. Now, the only thing that I ask for you guys is to be 100% engaged today. What that looks like is, one, getting your cameras on. So there's just a couple of you guys with your cameras off. I want to make sure I'm not talking to some AI robot or anything like that. I want to make sure you're a real live human being. Look at that. See, I see Ariana's smile right over there. All right, so we're good. And then two, just make sure you guys have something to take some notes on. So I get moving pretty fast because I get pretty excited about things. So just try to keep up with me. But leaders that are 100% engaged, they seek the best practices. All right. So by seeking the best practices is learning from others that are around you. Follow the success. I want to share some hot news, some exciting things that are going on in our division. And those are the people that you want to reach out to. Leaders are also hungry for growth. All right. Hungry for growth. So the challenge that I have for all of you guys is who can get the biggest takeaways out of today? Who can get down the most notes? And then having personal clarity. So that way it helps you make better decisions. So right now you'll hear us start talking a lot about the January contest, right? And, I just had a PC with one of my assistant managers, and we got very clear on their goals. And instantly she started going through her calendar. She's like, yeah, I'm not doing that concert. I'm going to be focused. So that way I can hit my goal, get a free trip to Mexico. And that's something that's super exciting. But the SLDM stands for Sales Leadership Development Meeting. The objectives of today is to dramatically increase your Cutco sales, to educate you on future opportunities, to identify our future leaders for 2023 and beyond, and to prepare our team for the summer. And I know you might be wondering, you're like, Josh, you're like, summer, it's winter, it just became winter. Well, right now, we start identifying our leaders that we want to grow with going into 2024. Right. And in the summer, for those of you guys that are newer, that's one of our biggest, busiest times of the year. And there's some of you guys that are on this call today that could be potential assistant managers or branch managers going into the summer of 2024, which is really exciting to see. But we start looking for our assistant managers now. So if you guys got invited to this, that means your manager thinks highly of you as somebody that could be a leader that they're going to be with. But welcome to the South Coast Division. The goal here in our division as well is to turn people into 5-star recruits. So what a 5-star recruit is, if you think about sports, right, being a 5-star athlete, that means everybody wants you on their team. We want to help you guys become 5-star athletes or recruits in the marketplace. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And here's the 4 pillars that we discuss a lot about in our division. So whenever you see Evan Keller running a meeting, he's always going to talk about these 4 pillars. And this is really what we focus on in the South Coast Division, is seeking the best version of yourself. Right. So that's what I would love for you to find, Isaiah, is like, all right, what does the best version of Isaiah look like in this company? Offering opportunity. So building the team, right, is really cool. Like all my assistant managers just submitted a list of 150 people that they want to offer the opportunity with going into the next year, because we're trying to build our team big. We're trying to build our team strong with all the right people. And think about it like this. We already like you guys. You know, Hunter, is like, you're here for a reason. We already like you. We want more people like you in our organization. Consistent sales performance, right? And then open communication plus coaching. So you'll hear us talk about this a lot. And here's something that's on our radar right now, is trying to crack the top 5 right here. We want to beat the LA division. All right. The LA division thinks that they have this made, and we've been climbing. We've been knocking them down slowly but surely every single week. And we're trying to end the year with a big bang. All right. So we're trying to crack the top 5 in the company for the top division sales. And then over here, we're trying to crack the top 10 for new representative sales. So you guys actually impact both of these categories. And we're trying to finish strong for the end of the year. All right. Now, here's something I want to just kind of do some sales recognition right here. This is what Jay Brad, this is what Evan, this is what Dan Casetta looks at every single week. They're trying to figure out who are the top representatives in sales on a weekly basis. So I'll start off right here with the South Coast Division, right? You'll see Bianca is number 1 right there at 12,000 for, this is just for the fall. All right, this is just for the fall campaign right now. Then we have Justice right here at number 2. We have Marina at number 3. We have Diana right there at number 5, or at number 4, and then Anita Gray at number 5 right there. So I'm just going to highlight the top 5 right there. But if you see your name on the list, all right, look at who's in front of you, right? Like if we look all the way down right here at number 25 with Ashley right here, you know, she's only $2 away from the person in front of her. Right, like everybody can like send a text right now. It's like, hey, I need one more order to move up on the standings right here in front of these people. So where are you going to finish at is the question by the end of the year. Now, if we look over here in the Southland division, all right, you can see Jonathan right here is leading, all right, in Diamond Bar at 84.14. We have Max Valens right there at number 2 in Newport Beach. We have Ivan over here, number 3. We have Marcus, and then we have Joe in the Tustin offices right there. So it's like, if I'm looking right here, I'm like, all right, where's Marcus at? All right, if I'm Joe, right, I'm just like, all right, I need to take down Marcus, and I need to take down Ivan. I need to find my way to finish up there at the top spot. Now, to kind of get you guys to think a little bit bigger, right, this is just all new representatives that just started in this fall. Now, here's the big dog category. All right, here's the big leagues. So right now, you guys are in the minor leagues, right? You're working your way up here, but by being at meetings like today, it's going to help you get all the skill sets so that way you can take things to the next level. All right, so if you look at the top 5 right here, right, they're all over $45,000 in CPO just for this fall, right? And then there's like freaks of nature like Matt Graves, right, who are over here at like 300,000. Now, what's really cool about this though, you guys are all going to have an opportunity to meet people like this at our kickoff conference coming up in January. And then there's going to be a few of you guys that might be invited to the net meeting, where you'll get a chance to go to these big events where all these guys are going to be there. You can pick their brains, and you can be like, Matt, how do you do this crazy magical thing? And he's just going to be like, I just show knives, right? It's awesome. So they all do the same job as you, which is something that's really cool. But let's start off right here. If you guys can title your notes, we're going to kind of go through like some of the opportunities that are available for you guys here in the company. So first thing I'm going to kind of talk about is our Leadership Academy. Now, real quickly, is everybody here in the WhatsApp chat? All right. So actually raise your hand if you are not in the WhatsApp chat. Okay, perfect. Just a couple of you guys. All right, if you guys can do me a favor, message your manager right now and ask them to add you to that chat, because I'm going to be posting a couple of documents in there that you guys will be able to access as I go through them today. Okay. So first things first is Leadership Academy. All right, Leadership Academy. And the goal of the Leadership Academy is to become the best version of yourself. All right. The goal of the Leadership Academy is to become the best version of yourself. And here's the problem right now. All right. Here's the problem right now. There's not enough avenues for young individuals to craft and develop and accelerate their prowess in both professional and personal leadership. So the solution that we've created here in the South Coast Division is with the single mission of creating growth, the growth experiences for all those fortunate enough to come through our doors, growing personally, professionally, and financially. Every year, students and non-students enroll in this special program, and they emerge themselves to become better versions of themselves. This unique curriculum and partnership is exclusive for both, but for both in its methods and the environment for learning. So go ahead and write these topics down right here. This is what we're focusing on in the Leadership Academy. All right, and then I'm going to share this with you guys here in just one second. If it wants to let me share it. There we go. All right, so I'll share this in the WhatsApp, and then I'm also going to share this in the Zoom chat right now with you guys. Un momento más. There we go. So I'm just going to share it in the Zoom chat for right now, but after we're done here today, I'll share everything into the WhatsApp. Okay. Okay, cool. So the main focus of our Leadership Academy is to help you guys get better with your time management, right? I'm sure everybody can agree here. We can all get better at managing our time. We all have the same 24 hours in the day, but the most successful people are the ones that know how to maximize all those hours in the day and less dead time, and learning how to manage your time effectively. Money management. I know when I was in college, I would make money, and then I would look at my bank account at the end of the week and I'm like, where did it all go? Right. And believe it or not, that's a skill set, right? So it's like it's a skill set to learn and develop. And we have a lot of really good practices that will help you out with that, and starting to build wealth and all that great stuff at a young age. How to manage your energy. Have any of you guys ever noticed when you call your manager, they're always excited? They're always fired up. It doesn't matter like what time of the day, Anna, right? You're like, why is he so amped up right now, right? So it's there's some things to help you with your energy management, so that way you can maintain a high level of energy all throughout the day. How to manage people. Just kind of curious, has anybody in here ever been in a manager role before in another company or at school or anything like that? Okay, JC, I see you right there. All right, I see Josh. All right, so that's another skill set to learn, to like manage a team, right? Like I have a team of assistant managers, and they all have their own little pods that they manage on a weekly basis. And it's funny, they're always telling me like, John, how do you do this with all of us? Right? It's pretty crazy. And then most importantly, probably the most difficult one to manage, Lucas, is ourselves. Right. So it's like, because we're our own worst enemy, and it's great. So these are some of the topics that we talk about in the Leadership Academy. So let's talk about the steps to earning a spot into the academy. So first one is being here today. So you guys have already like knocked out the first step here. All right, you guys have already knocked out the first step here, is just being here. All right, and by being here, you're exposing yourself to more opportunities. You're exposing yourself to all the things that you need to do. And here's a fun question to ask yourself: where will you be 1 year from today? Where will you be 1 year from today? The power of 1 year, right? I remember when I first started this position, I did not think I was going to sell Cutco. By the way, I've been with the company for 12 years now, over a decade. And you got to think about it. When I started this job 12 years ago, do you think I was going to be here? Do you think I knew I was going to be here for 12 years? No. But what I did was I was like, you know what does one really good year look like for me? And after that 1 year, what happened, Henry, is like I got an assistant manager position. Then a year from there, I got opportunity to run my own office, and then so on and so forth. So the power of 1 year can be monumental for some of you guys if you let it. Now, the next step is earning a spot onto key staff. There's some of you guys that might already have that spot. Some of you guys are right around the corner from earning a key staff spot. But here's what it takes in our division is 3,000 CPO. 3,000 CPO is the first thing that that earns you that spot. And then you also got to have a positive attitude, and you also got to be consistent, right? Because you can hit $3,000 a number of ways, right? Some of you guys could sell an ultimate set on accident and be at 3,000. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a leader. Does that make sense? So you also got to have all the other intangibles as well, right? You got to be positive attitude. You got to be consistent. You got to be positive with your teammates. And then also you got to let your manager know that you're interested too. You know, you got to let your manager know that you're interested. The reason why it took me so long to become an assistant manager was I never told my manager I was interested in it. And I was kind of like I would always get a little mad. I was like, why doesn't he consider me a leader? Right. And then one day he was like, yeah, I just never knew you wanted to be a leader. So like you can text your manager right now. It's like, hey, how do I get on key stack? Right. That's an easy text. And then like, you know, NJ will be like, oh, here's exactly what you need to do. You're almost there. This is what I want to see from you. Right. And in that way, it gives you more clarity on what you want to achieve in the position. But the reason why you want to be a part of the key staff is advancement opportunities. That's our first level of advancement. This is where we pick all of our assistant managers from, is our key staff group. Also, this is going to get you on the fast track to earning a leadership academy position. And also you're going to your sales will start to skyrocket once you're on there. Because think about it like this, James, if you're around all the other hardworking leaders in our division, what is that naturally going to make you want to do? Right? You're going to be like, oh man, I want to compete with these guys, right? I'm not going to let Max beat me here, right? I'm not going to let Ariana just step all over me, right? And then you're going to want to step up naturally just from being in that competitive environment. And then also big income and some elite training. Okay. Now, here's another target that I know all of you guys have is achieving 30-30 and beyond. All right, achieving 30-30 and beyond. Now, this is where the job truly starts, in my opinion. This is where the job truly starts because now your income level really just takes off from here, right? You can work part-time, earn full-time income, right? Once you get beyond 30-30, then that's when bonuses start to kick in and you can start to really like spice things up. So let's just kind of look at it here for a second, because sometimes I think like everybody has this goal of hitting 30-30, but then sometimes as we start to progress, we start to forget like, oh, why did I want to hit 30-30? Right. And I don't know about you guys, but you know, like I like making good money, right? I love making great income. So let's look at when you sell $1,000 and you're at 30%, you make $300 in income. Some of you guys will be able to do that in an hour, right? Think about that for a second, Laura, right? Being able to make $300 in an hour legally, right? That's pretty cool, right? At 35%, you know, that's 350, 40%, that's $400, 45%, so on and so forth, right? And then getting to 50%, which is really exciting. All right, now when you sell $2,000 for the week at 30%, that's $600 in income. $600 in income right there. All right. And you know, like for some of you guys, that's 2 sets. Others of you guys, that's like 5 orders, 6 orders for the week, right? And that's making pretty great income. I remember being a college student, getting really good at this job and only, you know, like only having 2 days to work, but I maximized those 2 days. And my goal in those 2 days was always to sell $2,000. I wanted to have a grand day each day. And, you know, if you're at 30%, as a college student, I did not need $600 on a weekly basis. So what that allowed me to do was to get ahead in my savings and start investing in my retirement and all those different things at a young level, at a young age, which is pretty cool. Then when you get to $3,000, you know, that's $900 in income right there. All right. So that's the next move here. So here's what I want everybody to do real quick is write this down in your notes. All right. Write this down in your notes. When is my 30-30 birthday? Like assign a date for yourself. So it's like, I'm going to hit Dirty 30 by before Christmas, right? Like find that date. Maybe it's December 24th, right? I'm going to hit Dirty 30. Or it's by New Year's. I'm going to hit Dirty 30 before January 1st. So that way I can go into 2024 at 30%. All right. And then here's the other big thing is you want to partner with your manager. You want to partner with your manager. You're going to hear me talk about this a lot is partnering with your manager because they're going to be your biggest supporters in this goal. So send that to your manager. Say, Callista, I'm going to hit Dirty 30 by this day. All right. Now, just curious. Feel free to share in the chat box. When's your Dirty 30 birthday? We can add some extra accountability for me. I'm always curious, right? You guys can always like text me. You're like, John, here's my Dirty 30 birthday. I hit it by then. All right. So post, let me see some of your Dirty 30 birthdays in the chat box. All right, cool, JC. That's perfect. And I want to challenge you, JC, is like think a little bit bigger, right? Like what if you could hit it, by the end of January? How cool would that be? All right, before January. I love that. Yeah, that's also a great point, Jay Brad, right? What if somebody is already at 30%, but not yet at 50K? So yeah, so no matter whatever your next big level is, right? Find your due date for that. Because let's think about school for a second. I know many of you guys are students. If a teacher didn't have a deadline for your papers, would those papers ever get done? No, right? So that's why it's important to have a deadline for your goals that you're going out there to achieve. Okay. Now, the reason why Dirty 30 is really important is before the next thing that I'm going to talk about. The next thing I want to talk about is earning an assistant manager spot in your office. Earning an assistant manager spot or an assistant manager intern position in the office. All right. So go ahead and write down these two things. Assistant manager intern, AMI for short is what we call it. That you can start earning that role around 6,000. 6,000 CPO is when you can submit your assistant manager application in our division. And when you submit that application, right, that lets your manager know, that lets the division manager know you're interested in earning a spot on staff. Now, as an assistant manager intern, Kristen, this is where you just start to learn what goes on behind the scenes, right? That way you get a chance to know like, oh, what is NJ doing when, he's not in the office, right? Learning how to actually build a business. By a show of hands, how many of you guys want to own your own business one day or be like a high level CEO or manager in a company? Perfect. So this role is for you. Literally, all we do is just teach you how to run a business, from how to create advertising, how to convert that advertising into a touch, right? And then fill in like the whole funnel of a business. So that's something that's really cool. And then at 10,000 is when you're eligible to actually become an official paid assistant manager on staff. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit more about the assistant manager intern position. And you guys can get this down if you'd like. So this is going to put some management experience. All right. Sorry, was I unmuted for some of that point?
For like a couple seconds.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. So it gets your foot in the door, right? It just gets your foot in the door. So that way, like we start, it doesn't guarantee anything, Ariana, but now it's like, all right, Ariana's starting to learn like what it takes to run a business, what it takes to run a business at a high level and all that good stuff. Now, some perks of being an assistant manager is you get dual pay. So the number one job as an assistant manager is to what, you guys? It's to sell Cutco. Right? Because how are you going to be able to teach somebody, Joe, how to sell Cutco if you're not selling Cutco? right? So it's kind of funny. Like in my office, right? If I look at my top 10 board, I'm on there. So like my assistant managers, like their goal is to beat me every single year, every single campaign. Make sure like, oh, John, we can't let John be on the top 10 board. We have to beat our manager, right? But it's like I feel like I wouldn't be a good manager if I'm not selling Cutco, right? So it's like that's the number one job as an assistant manager. Now, the second way that you get paid is a percentage off of the office. Right? You get a percentage off of the office's performance and success, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like you're taking ownership of the company. And the more you invest into your team, right? So if you get to lead by example by sales, but you bring other people along with you and you're teaching them how to sell at a high level, it helps the team's results, right? And then you get paid off of those results that you create in the office. So it's really cool. All right. Now promotions for this, they happen in the next 2 months. So, if you're someone that's like right there at 6 grand or you're almost at 10 grand, you should ask your manager, like, hey, how can I get a application to apply for being an assistant manager? This is one of my favorite roles in the office, Sherilyn, because I got a chance to make an impact on the team and like get to see those direct results for what I was doing. So that was something that was really fun. So these are the expectations when you do become an assistant manager. Consistent selling. You'll see this hashtag a lot. Leaders lead, right? Paulina, we don't want you to talk about it. We want you to just be about it, right? We just want just lead by example. That's the best way to lead. Help others with team building or help with the team building process. So another thing as an assistant manager, now that you have ownership in your office's success, you want to see your team grow. You want to see your team grow. And you guys actually do a better job at helping the team grow than the actual manager. It was so easy for me to like help build the team because I was in a university class with hundreds of kids all day that were also broke college students that needed money. So guess what I was doing in between classes? Every time I met somebody, I'm like, hey, where are you working right now? It's like it just starts with a simple question like that. And most of the time they're like, nowhere, or they start complaining about their job. I'm like, hey, I got a cool opportunity. You want to check it out? Here's a link to apply. Boom. Right. And that's the biggest way you can impact your team is by helping the team grow. And then also just being a positive role model. I wish you guys could have saw John Baker when he was 18. Not a positive role model. Right. I used to come in with like these red jeans, earrings. I thought I was like way too cool for school. Then my manager taught me, he was like, hey, like you should get a blazer. And like I was like, oh, why? He's like, it's just gonna make you look like a professional. So like little things like that. So imagine showing up to your office being the best dressed person in there. If everyone's gonna be like, dang, what does Joshua do? Right. And then like they should know like distinctively, oh, he's an assistant manager on the team. Right. So that's another part of it, right? And then being able to be a positive impact to the people around you. Okay. Now back to like the leadership academy advancement opportunity. So at your first promotion, we start the networking with Evan Keller or Jay Brad, right? We start the networking process with them. And basically it's just your manager connects you in a three-way text, introduces you to Evan. So that way you're on his radar, right? If you can imagine, Evan's a busy man. He has a lot of people in our division. So it's like, all right, now he knows who Josh is, right? Then you get onto key staff, right? Then you submit an assistant manager application. You become an intern, right? At 6,000, you earn that intern opportunity. You start working behind the scenes. And believe it or not, what your managers talk about the most with the division manager and the region managers is you guys. They talk about the people that they're excited about, right? Like before this call, like NJ was telling me about Marcus and Joe, how he's like super excited to work with them, and he's like, yeah, these guys are gonna crush it. Right. And I love to hear that. So it's like that's where we start talking to our division managers, like who are the people we're excited to build with. Then when you get your official promotion at 10,000, you also earn the opportunity to interview to get into the academy. Now, Rusty, this leadership academy isn't for everybody. We actually don't want everybody in it. It's for the people that we really want to build with, the people that are really committed to taking things to the next level. And these are it's called the Leadership Academy for a reason, right? We just can't let everybody in there. So you go through an interview process with either the division manager or your manager to make sure you're the right fit for our academy. Okay. So is everybody kind of clear on like the assistant manager roles and that opportunity and kind of how to get into the Leadership Academy? Okay, perfect. Now let me explain another opportunity that you guys have in front of you, which is service call training. Raise your hand if you know what a service call is. Okay, cool. More than I expected. That's awesome. So service calls. So here's the challenge that the company has right now. We have 16 plus million customers and only like 10,000 representatives. That's a big unbalance, right? So we have a lot of customers that own Cutco products, but we don't have enough representatives to service them. So we're actively looking for people to join our service call training team. Okay, so I'll explain how that works, but we need new members. It starts at 10,000, where you can start learning how to sharpen knives, right? Like this is at once you hit 10,000, we can order your sharpener. Now, do you guys see why like 10K is like where the job really starts? For sure, right? So 10,000, we can order your sharpener. All right, when you get that sharpener, you're gonna go field training with some veteran representatives in our division. Right. And that way you can learn how to do a service calls. And service calls are so fun because you get to meet all different types of customers that have had their knives for 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30, 40, 60 plus years. And they tell you about how much they love Cutco, and they're like, they already have their wish list ready of stuff that they want to buy and order for their grandkids and Christmas. Right. Like just yesterday, I got off a call, got a $300 order. Ladies had Cutco forever. She's one of my customers that I met on a service call, and she was like, John, it's time for my yearly Christmas gift order. And she buys her 3 grandkids one piece of Cutco every single year, and we're building them a set. So like in like 5 years, that set will be completed. They'll be 18 or 21 and so on and so forth, and she's going to have it. So it's like, that's what's really cool about the service call opportunity. Okay, so right there, you can start training. Once you hit 15,000, go ahead and write this down, you guys. 15,000, you can be service call. You can get to join like the service call elite program. Now, once you go through the program, the training for this, at a point, the company will start sending you leads. Right, they'll start sending you leads. Your manager can start ordering you service leads in the area. Right, but that doesn't really start until like $15,000, $20,000 in your career sales. Okay. Then we also have flatware and cookware training. I know there's a handful of you guys that you're like, yeah, I see all this pots and pans and these flatware, but I don't know anything about it. And that's okay. That's okay. We train in phases on purpose. Right now, we want you to master the cutlery. That's what we're most known for. But there's a really great opportunity with flatware and cookware. Right? I just had one of my CSPs, he had a $5,000 cookware order. Right? Because the customer already has all the knives, they already have all the accessories. So now, hey, you don't have the cookware. Right? So that's a whole nother layer that you can add on to your Cutco business. So we'll teach you guys how to do that as well. All right. And then you can earn a spot on our events team. Okay. So 10,000, once you hit 10,000, you can start attending the events meetings. So I think about like Angel and Ian, they're newer people that had just added onto our events team, but they started attending the meetings at 10,000. Now at this point, Max, they weren't able to work events, but now guys like Matt Graves, who's our events coordinators, right? He started to recognize them, right? And then now they also started to get the training, right? And now they're known in the division. So right now, this fall, they all just started working their first event shifts. And Ian's first shift he worked, he sold like $2,500 in like 3 hours, right? So that opportunity like becomes really, really exciting right there. Right. And we have also the issue that we have in Orange County and here in South Coast is we have so many events to work, just not enough people to staff them all, which is a positive problem, right? Because that opens up more opportunities for all of you guys on this call. So that's why I want you guys to be exposed to this. There's a lot out there for you guys to get there. Get over that first 10K, then get to 15, and then so on and so forth. So now when you hit $20,000 in CPO, you can actually start working these events. And this is another avenue to layer on to your Cutco business. So everything I'm talking about right now, Sammy, these are just all layers. You're still doing demos on a weekly basis. You're still making your calls to book a demo with Mrs. Jones, but then you add on some service calls. Then you add on some events. Now, what does that equal? Massive weeks. So, you know, when you guys like look at the newsletter and you're like, how are these guys selling 10, 20, $30,000 every week? That's because they have all their layers built up. So that's why it's so important to master your layer, that you're the first layer right now, which is just doing a demo. Right. When you do a really good demo, you master that layer, and then so on and so forth from there. And our events team is going to do around like, you know, close to $3 million this year. Right. So they sell a lot of freaking knives, and you're going to see us explode in these next weeks, starting next week. For the next 3 weeks, all of our team is going to be in Vegas for a really big show. It's called Cowboy Christmas. Last year, we sold like $600,000 at that event in 3 weeks. So it's really exciting, and our events team keeps growing every single year. So I'm excited for you guys to be aware of that. All right. So we have our sales development path. You'll see this a lot as you guys are working here. So we have the path from zero to 6K for where a lot of you guys are at on this call, 6 to 10, and then all the way up to becoming an FSM and earning half. Another opportunity I want everybody to know about is our branch manager opportunity. So go ahead and write this down. So this is Cutco's premier opportunity. And the reason why I think this is the premier opportunity is because I haven't found any other companies that do this. But think about this, James. What company gives 18, 19, 20-year-old thousands of dollars to go open up a business for 4 months for the experience, just to see if they like being a business owner? Right? I know most of you guys raised your hands. You want to run your own business one day. That was me. Right? I was like, yeah, I would love to do this. The company trusted me with thousands of dollars and a territory to go operate and run a business when I was 19 years old. And like, even my parents couldn't believe it. They're like, they trust you? I was like, yeah, mom. Right? I was like, I went to the Leadership Academy. I'm ready. And it was the best experience of my life. Right? I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the world. Right? This is like my first time, you know, like finding my own office lease and paying all the bills, payroll, hiring employees, training and developing my own team, doing advertising. So that was something that I got to do for my first summer, or my second summer working with the company. And you get some elite resume experience. So I'm talking to all of you guys that are students right now. Imagine adding that onto your resume, that you ran your own business during the summer and you generated, you know, X amount of sales in 4 months. Any employer that you go interview with, they're going to be really impressed. And they're going to be like, wait a minute, how old are you? How old were you when you did that? And you're like, oh yeah, I was 19, I was 20, I was 21. Right? They're like, wow, that's impressive stuff right there. And it sets you apart from all the students, because nowadays, you know, I interview tons of people. Everybody's resumes look the same. They all did some type of volunteer work. They all worked at like a fast food job, or they worked at a family business where they filed some papers, or a warehouse, you know? So it's like, there's nothing really that stands out from most people between the ages of 18 and 25. Like, most resumes look the same. So when you add something like this onto that resume, it really sets you apart from your peers from like miles away, which is really great. So think about that. Some of you guys could be in position to open your own branch in 2024. Some of you guys, and most of you guys, will probably be 2025. You got to do something special to be able to open up one this summer. But we call this taking the leap. LEAP stands for leadership, experience, adventure, personal growth. Now, also, as a branch manager, or here's some of our most recent branches that we've had in the South Coast Division. I think about like Leilani Turla. She went to UCSD. She was a business major. She ran a branch for 2 summers, and now she's working a killer job out there in San Diego, living the life. I love seeing her Instagram. She's traveling. She's making great money, crushing it out there in the real world. I think about Emily Jabaro. She ran a branch 2 summers ago. This past summer, she was the Dom, and now she's getting ready to open up as a district manager, right? With over 10,000, I think like almost $14,000 saved in her withholdings account, which is something that's really exciting. We have Eric Arias. He's also a 2-time branch manager, right? Eric is 21. And the other day some of you guys saw him in Olean. I think he won the Olean push. He sold like 20 grand for the push in Olean. Also, some other cool things to know about him. He has like 3 or 4 properties and he's only 21. Right. So that's just like shows you just like think about it. Like you guys are competing against Eric out there in the marketplace. Right. So he's a 5-star recruit, but that's because he went through Leadership Academy 3 times. He's ran 2 branches. Right. So he's just ahead of most people his age. So also too, with being a branch manager, this is the fast track to becoming an FSM, making half. So maybe you're like, well, I don't know, John, if I want to be a business owner, but I do want to get to 50% commission here in Cutco. All of our best CSPs have ran branches. I don't know if you guys knew that, right? Most of our CSPs, they've all ran branches. But what's cool about your branch office, your sales for your office counts towards your career sales. So maybe you go run a branch and you're at $30,000 in sales, and then your office sells $120,000 for the summer. Well, now you come back at the end of that summer at 50%, at half, which is pretty cool. Okay. So think about this. What's better? Working 30, 40, 50 years so that you can eventually make a 6-figure income, or working 3 months to a year to gain a skill that helps you to be more marketable and make more money in the future. Some people, it takes them 30 years to get this type of experience just built up onto their resume. Right? Because I don't know about you guys, but most jobs, they're not knocking on your door trying to like, hey, let me promote you to the highest level in our company. It's kind of a long process if you think about it. Right? Now, the next role is becoming a division office manager. Usually that role is for somebody that's ran a branch office in the past. So that's how Emily got that role. She was already an assistant manager in the pilot office, but she took the leap. She ran a branch, got the experience of actually running her own business. And then now when she came back as a Dom, she already knows how to run a business. And now she can do it at a higher level in the pilot office as she's training to become a district manager. So this is usually the division's #1 candidate. It's next level training. You become a top level district candidate and you run the San Diego pilot office with Evan Keller. So now, I know I just covered a lot of information really quickly. So let's kind of debrief here for a second. So I asked this question at the beginning. Where will you be 1 year from today? What's the power of 1 year? So I'm going to have everybody share a couple light bulbs here in the chat box for me. Share a couple light bulbs. What were some of your takeaways from what I just covered right now? What stood out to you? What's a role that you're excited about? What's a role that you're like, John, I want to be an assistant manager, right? Or maybe it's like, John, I want to run a branch now. So JC already put right there, like taking the leap. Like, how cool is that? Like I remember that summer, by the way, when I was 19 running my office, all my friends were talking about like, what are you doing for the summer? And I was like, yeah, I'm running a business. They're like, what? Like, what kind of business? I was like, yeah, the Cutco thing. I'm all in. And it was an awesome summer because there was points in that summer, my friends were like, hey, just call off of work. Guess what? When it's your thing, you can't call off, right? I was like, I can't. Like, I'm the boss. If I call off, like nothing else happens. Right. So it was an awesome opportunity. All right. So I see more branch manager stuff in there. I see becoming an assistant manager, service leads. Yeah, the opportunity to grow, right? Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Laura. I love it. I love it. Assistant manager, branch manager, hitting 30-30. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely, Marianne. Awesome, you guys. Thank you guys for being engaged, and thank you guys for sharing all this. All right, cool. Cool. Let's talk. Let's keep going. All right, let's keep going. We're on a roll here. All right. So Cutco through college. All right. By a show of hands, how many of you guys are college students? Just so I can have an idea of the room here. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, cool. So Cutco through college. You guys heard me talk a lot about my college experience with Cutco, through some examples. But what this is the goal of Cutco through college is to sell Cutco and earn enough to be able to graduate from school with zero debt. Right? Like you always hear the debt issue with college students, right? Yeah, I remember like when I was finishing up school, all my friends were. It was kind of like a brag. Like everyone's bragging about how much debt they accumulated. And when it kind of came to me, they're like, "John, how much debt do you have?" I was like, "None." They're like, "How'd you do that? Like you went through all the same classes as me. How do you have no debt?" I was like, "I just paid my bills because I had a job." It was just like, but it didn't. I didn't think it was anything like not normal to do when I was a student. I was just kind of naive. I was just like, oh, the school said to pay this much. I need to sell this amount to pay for it. Right. That was just like my mentality. And then when I was done, I was like, oh, nobody pays for college in school. They wait until after. And I was like, I'm glad I didn't do that. So this is the college through Cutco through college program. Um, Here's some of our people. So like Lindsay Lindhurst, like she's someone that like did this, right? She sold Cutco through school, was able to pay for a lot of her schooling. She became a district. She actually ran a branch office, then became a district manager. Currently, she's a district manager in the Georgia area. She moved from South Coast of Georgia. I don't know why she did that, but she loves it, and she was able to pay for a lot of her schooling all through Cutco. Right? Matt Graves did the same thing. Right? Matt Graves was a college baseball player. Got injured, wasn't able to play college baseball, but he was still in school at San Marcos and ended up selling Cutco to pay for all his loans and graduated debt free. But here's the other thing about that, Christian, is like when you start, like when you're just doing that, you're in the habit of doing that. Now, when you don't have to pay that bill anymore, what can you use that extra money for? Then you can use that, like he used that to buy his first house, right? Which he now gave to his mom, right? And like his mom lives in that house, and now he lives in this baller skyrise condo in downtown San Diego, overlooking the ocean. It's awesome, right? But it's cool to be able to do that. And what a lot of these people did to keep them on pace for Cutco through college was going after the All American Scholarship. How many of you guys are aware of this All American Scholarship? Cool. So everybody's aware of it, right? So it's just like go for it. And all it is just consistency. So here's the collegiate track going based off of our leadership academy. Summer number 1. Usually you just sell that summer, you earn a spot, maybe you become an assistant manager. Summer number 2, what a lot of these people do is they'll run a branch and they build a business, right? And that's more for the experience. Now, the reason why you saw a lot of 2-time branches is because summer number 3, you want to grow the business and you want to profit hard, right? Because now you're like, all right, now I know how to run the business. I'm going to prepare all year and do it again. And now I want to profit hard, right? And we have some branch managers that profit, like 20, 30, 40, $50,000 just in the summer. So that's kind of like the fast track right there. And then there's some people that they're like, okay, you know what? I realize management wasn't for me. I'm glad I got that experience on my resume, but now my 3rd summer, I'm going to go sell a lot. And that's where you see the people that sell like $50,000 to $100,000 just in the summertime. And then after that, usually you're at the point. The goal is to put you in a position of choice. So that way, Lucas, you're not doing a job because you feel like you have to. Now you have some options, right? When you graduate college, you're like, all right, do I want to pursue my major or like what I got my degree in? Do I want to pursue that path? Do I want to be a district manager and, you know, have a career with Cutco? Or do I want to sell at a high level and become a CSP like Matt Graves or Brandon Brown or, you know, Deanna Scortino, like those types of people? So you kind of get a chance to choose right there. But now like you did all the things while you were a student to put yourself in that position. So now that way you have some options out there. Right. And then or you could just be a 5-star recruit and just go test the marketplace for yourself. Okay. So you guys are going to see these hashtags a lot. I just want you guys to be aware, right? So that way you know what everything means. TLA stands for Leadership Academy. Earn your spot, right? So anytime Evan just like, sometimes Evan doesn't even say words in his responses. He'll just send you a hashtag, right? If he says earn your spot, now you know what that means. BVOY, best version of you. Cutco through college is CTC, 5-star recruit. And then the trains. The train emojis stands for momentum, right? Once a train gets going, it's really hard to stop that train. So I'm really excited for like with the stuff I'm going to teach you guys today, how you guys are going to put that into the momentum of the job. Being vector trained is a skill set to have. It's amazing. And then right now we're going to do all these things step by step. All right. So right now I'm just giving you all the information. Now I'm going to show you guys how to put it all in step by step, or brick by brick is what we say in our division. Okay. All right. So let me just talk about some post-college opportunities, and then we'll take a quick break here. Okay. So I know, and thank you guys that aren't in college for your patience as we were going through this, but let's talk about some post-college opportunities. And some of you guys might be in position for these opportunities now. So Cutco Sales Professional, CSP for short. Go ahead and write that down in your notes. Cutco Sales Professional, CSP. And what you're doing here in this role is you're selling business to consumer. So our CSPs, they just sell Cutco full time at a high level. As a Cutco sales professional, this is more of an independent selling opportunity, career selling opportunity, events team, military program, etc. Some of you guys might not have known this, but we sell Cutco like 7 or 8 different ways. So when you're just independent selling, basically you're just doing what you guys already do now, just at a higher scale. Career selling, usually you have a mixture of a lot of things in there, right? Usually you have your key events that you work. Usually you have maybe some clients that are on some reorder type of program. We have a business gift program where they travel all around the world and work different business specific shows where like large corporations come in. Sometimes these representatives will get some larger size orders. We also have our military program, right? This one where you fly around to all the different military bases around the world, right? Like Matt Graves, Brandon Brown, Connor Kelly. These guys are in that program. They'll go to Japan, Korea, Hawaii, and all the bases around the world, Alaska, and they work with the families there and helping them with all their Cutco needs, so on and so forth. So these are just some of the CSPs in our division. So this is Matt, Charissa, Justin, TC, Adam, Eric, Daniel, Brittany, Eddie, Austin, JJ, Muhammad, and AJ. All right. So we're looking for more. These guys typically sell anywhere from $100,000 to $1 million on a yearly basis. Right. But now you start building this business so you can stack and really, really do some damage and sell Cutco at a high level. All right. And then the next one is CGC. Okay. CGC is a closing gift consultant. So now you're selling business to business. So I mentioned that briefly, right? But you're selling business to business. And this is where you're working with the large corporations. So this is Adam Sobieski and Eric Gilman. These are two CGCs in our business, and they get assigned a territory. So CGCs gets assigned a territory that they manage all the local businesses in. And usually when you're selling business to business, you're getting businesses to think about corporate gifts, either gifts to the people that work for them or gifts to their clients to help with retention. And the reason why Cutco works so well for this is because of our forever guarantee. Think about all the bad gifts you guys have received over the years. Right. Or think about like a business that, they give out those little like cheapy gifts, where it's like maybe it's like, I don't know, fruit basket or a little like what are those foam little, I don't know what they're called, but all right, but there's a lot of bad gifts that get out there. So they differentiate themselves with Cutco because it's a gift that they're going to actually use every single day and it lasts forever. And they put their corporate logo on there, or sometimes people will do like a little business card on there. So that way they always know who gave them that gift. And we all know how much we love Cutco. So that every time they use their favorite knife, they're gonna be like, man, thank you to this company. Okay. So that's the CGC opportunity right there. All right. Then we have our district manager opportunity. So this is just like running a branch office, but this you're doing it as a career, not just for one summer. Okay. So this is more of a career position. So this is a career position. Usually when you open up a district office, you're making a plan for 3 to 5 years on like building a business. This is basically an equivalent to getting an MBA in school for like your business degree, and this is like Vector's MBA program. Also, if you want that true entrepreneurship lifestyle, or if you want to learn how to scale, like this kind of fills that void. Like I know when I was becoming a district manager, I always knew I wanted to be a CEO of a company. I just didn't know like what company or what business I was going to build. And then by me selling Cutco, I fell in love with the product. I fell in love with the culture. And I was like, you know what? Like maybe this is it. And that's kind of how I kind of landed into my role currently. Now, with the district manager opportunity, you get to build your team. All right. So this was like my team and I, a few years ago. The company loved sharing this photo. It was like the face of the company for a little bit. But you get to have fun, you get to travel. Was there anybody on this call that was in Olean? Or okay, cool. Lucas was, J Brad was, Hunter was. That's awesome. Right. So this is Niagara Falls right there outside of Olean. We also have a car package, like a car program. So when you're a district manager for a few years, you have the opportunity to get a BMW or a Tesla. All right, you guys can see which one I chose right there in that photo. Also, as a district manager, you get to travel. So like these are some of the places we've gone as a company. So in 2025, we're going to Budapest. Next year, we're going to Spain. This year we went to Ireland. So that's always really fun if you guys like to travel. And then more travel. All right. I like to travel, as you guys can see. All right. So the travel opportunities are really great. But this is where we're going in March. We're all going to Spain and it's going to be phenomenal. All right. So again, we're looking for our A players. That's why you guys are here. All right, we're looking for our A players, and I want to help everybody get on the radar. So again, CPO talks. You're gonna hear me talk a lot about that forever and ever while you know me. Like if you ever see me at a conference or at a division meeting, come tell me how much CPO. That's what I love to talk about. All right, CPO talks. All right, that is the answer to most of your problems right there. All right. Cool. So let's take a quick break. All right, let's take a quick break. Oh, perfect. It's 4 o'clock on the dot. All right, we are rolling. So when we come back from this break, we're gonna just take like a quick 10. All right, when we come back from this break, I'm gonna teach you guys the kitchen system. All right, I'm gonna help you guys increase your average order, and I'm also gonna teach you guys the magical phrase to help you get way more customers on your appointments. All right. So I'll see you guys back at 4:10. Oops, forgot to record some of that. All right. So here's the magic phrase. All right. So this is what you're gonna say first in this box here. So like I said on the phone, you don't have to get anything, but if you do see something that you like, you can get it today. Not only would you be getting a great product, you'd also be helping me out towards my goals. I'm only able to work through referrals. So my biggest goal today is that you like me and Cutco enough to recommend me to some of your friends. Right. So this is gonna be in your manual, right? Then you're going to transition to saying this phrase. So you want to have this script up on your tabs bar when you're starting your demo. Now, by the way, Mrs. Jones, we are a member of the DSA, right? And what that is the Direct Selling Association and the Better Business Bureau. These are two organizations that monitor ethical practices of US companies. We have an excellent record with both. That means that we don't do any door to door. We don't do any telemarketing. So the only way that I can continue to compete for that scholarship or the other goals I told you about is if I'm personally recommended to other people by each customer, just like how I was recommended to you. Now, isn't that phrase money right there? So it's already handling any concerns, any objections that we're going to do anything weird or unethical with their names. We're like, hey, we're part of DSA, we're part of the Better Business Bureau. They monitor our ethical practices. All right. So, Mrs. Jones, at the end of the presentation, I'm going to ask you to recommend me to 10, 20, 30 plus other people. And if I don't do a good job, and if you don't like the product, or if you just don't like me, say that jokingly, right? I don't want you to recommend me to anyone. But if you felt like I did a good job, and if you liked me, if you liked the presentation, or if you just like me, then I'm going to ask you to recommend me to as many people as possible. And I just wanted to give you a heads up. Okay. Now, in the chat box, tell me, why do you think that what I just shared right there is so important to do at the beginning? Yeah, definitely, JC. It knocks off that shield, answers the objections before they come up. You break the ice, and yeah, you get some thinking early on it, right? Because how many times does a customer maybe not recommend us to people just because they weren't prepared to recommend anybody? Because like, let's think about it, right? The whole time we're talking about like Cutco, we're talking about sales, and then we blindside them at the end, and we're like, all right, now can you recommend me to 30 of your family members and friends? And they're like, whoa, I don't know. Like, I need time to think about that. But if we do this at the beginning of our demo, now as they're going through the demo, they're looking at it from a different light, right? Because now they're like, oh, my cousin Gerald loves the barbecue, right? My uncle J Brad says he's the best turkey smoker on the planet. He's gonna love this carving set, right? So now they're thinking about all these things as they go throughout the demo, right? And now they like kind of already have a list like ready for you by the end of it, right? So that's why we want to get the customers thinking about the leads early, right? When you show them the homemaker set, right? Now maybe that also increases your order, right? Because now they're thinking about them, but they're like, oh, maybe my daughter might want a set too. Or maybe I should buy my mom a set as well. Because you already put that in their mind. Okay. So that's why that's so important to share this at the beginning of your presentation. So this is the magical phrase, all right, and it just handles all those objections before it comes up. Okay. Now, in the chat box here, share a couple of objections that you've handled that might have been a challenge for you to handle, or maybe you didn't know how to respond. So give me a couple objections that you're having trouble with. Okay, perfect. Is that like more so with the app, Max?
Yeah, I always make them download the app and they don't, but I would just tell them that it only goes to me.
Yeah.
No one else can see them.
Perfect. Perfect. So like let's just say that didn't work, right? And they're like, yeah, I just don't feel comfortable about downloading anything. Just do it old school. All right. It's just like good old classic pen and paper, right? So if you're doing it virtually, right, just like, hey, no worries. This is why it's always good practice to always have a notebook and a pen right by your side. Right. Like even through today, like I'm taking notes. I'm like, I'm letting your managers know, like, oh yeah, this person doesn't have their camera off on and everything. I don't know if this person was there. You should check on them, right? I'm taking notes on you guys every meeting, right? So it's like you should have that ready. So that way, if your customer does do that, like, hey, no worries. I actually have a pen and paper right now. You can just open up your contacts and just read me the ones that you want to share. Right. So that just handles that out of the way. All right. I can't think of anyone right now. Hey, Ms. Jones, just open up your contacts. All right, that one's pretty simple. You can see my little baby girl right there. All right, it was like, yeah, Ms. Jones, just open up your contacts. Let's just start from A to Z. All right, and the key is just getting them going. Right, and don't be afraid to ask. Right, I think that's another important tip. Right, like don't be afraid to ask. Like don't we recommend people to things all the time? Like what was I can probably guarantee like most of the conversation at Thanksgiving was family telling family about other things that they should try. Right. So we always recommend people to things. So don't be afraid. It's just like, oh yeah, just start off with just open up your contacts. If it's something like that, like, I can't think of anybody. Hey, just open your phone. All right. And I'm going to share some other resources for you guys next that will also help you out with that. All right. I'm just going to go through a couple more. I might not be able to answer all of them right this second. I'd have to ask them first. All right, perfect, Christian. So what's really cool about the app, Mrs. Jones, it's a huge time saver. So once you select everybody, you actually introduce them with a text, and there's already a heads up text in there. And then if there's anyone that responds that they're not interested, I just remove them. All right, like that Vector Impact app, isn't it awesome? Like it has it all in there, right? So you just send them the heads up text, and then you come back to those questions, right? So it's like, hey, Mrs. Jones, did you enjoy the presentation? Right? Did I do a good job? Did I make you feel pressured? Did you enjoy the quality of the product? Cool. That's the exact same thing I want to do with all your friends. All right. So it's like, let's recommend the ones that you want to recommend. I'll give you, a few days to reach out to everybody. And if there's anybody that's absolutely against meeting an awesome person like me, just let me know. I'll take them off the list. All right. So, and then you just follow up with a question. So who in your family would be nice enough to take a look? What about people from work, right? And then you give them some thought joggers. Okay. All right. They rather contact them first. Okay, let's see. We answered that one. That's for Rick. Sorry, I'm just reading a couple here in the chat box. Oh, okay. Hey, Sammy, I love this one. My biggest order of my career came from that exact objection. So the customer said, oh, I don't think my friends would be nice to you. Right? Like they hate random people calling or reaching out. And here's what I said. And it's surprising because it worked. I was like, all right, perfect. Start with the meanest one. Because Mrs. Jones, I want to get into business and I need to learn how to work with all types of people. So even if they say no, it still helps me with the practice just to reach out and talk to them. So who is the meanest person you would start with? And guess that meanest person bought $8,000 from me. So again, you got to take all the objections with a grain of salt because your customers don't even know, right? So it's just like, there's also a part of it where it's just like you want to get your customers ready to be prepared to recommend, right? So a lot of these objections that you guys are saying here in the chat box, like by you guys using this approach earlier in the demo, that's going to help eliminate a lot of that. but then also you got to be, you know, a little quick with your responses too. So just like, hey, start with the meanest one, right? And that was something that wasn't taught to me. It just kind of felt right at the moment, but it worked really well. All right, awesome. Thanks, JC. All right, cool. So these are some great ones. If we have some time at the end, I'm going to come back to some of these and help you guys answer some more, if that's okay. All right, but let me teach you guys some other ways to get more leads on an appointment. All right, because like what Max was saying, right? Like sometimes customers don't want to download the app, or maybe it's you're having trouble getting them to recommend a certain way. Well, let's give them more options on how they can recommend customers. So the next one I would say here is Facebook. Okay. How many of you guys have had somebody post on Facebook for you? All right, cool. So like 4 of you guys. Great. So this is a must do every appointment. Must do for every appointment, whether your customer buys or doesn't buy, have them post about you on Facebook. All right, because you know, most of you guys probably don't use Facebook a whole lot. Right? Like even me, I might check my Facebook once a week, but you know, a lot of you guys are on Instagram, Twitter, you know, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever it is that you guys use, right? But all of our target market, guess where they're at? They're on Facebook. My mom is like the ideal Mac customer, and this woman is the queen of Facebook. Like whenever my mom puts up a post, her comment sections, like everybody's all engaged, and there's like side conversations happening in the comments, right? It is money, right? So you want to have a Facebook presence, and even if you don't have a Facebook account, I would make one strictly for business, right? And to keep in touch with your clients and keep them into like your ecosystem that you create. But here's a good example right here. So this just says I am a satisfied Cutco knives owner for over 20 years, and the knives are still amazing. Jessica, so she tags Jessica right there, is working really hard towards a scholarship, and every appointment she makes helps her towards her goal. It's a simple presentation for Cutco. The great thing is that you're under no obligation to purchase anything, and it helps either way. If you think you might be able to help her, please comment below, like this post, or message her directly, and then tags her again so she can contact you. Thank you so much for reading this and for your help. She insists on making her own money for college and not borrowing it from her parents. She is one of our desperately needed entrepreneurs. Please make sure to reach out and help this hardworking student. She's a sweetheart, by the way. Oh, and P.S. She tells me that she can do long distance presentations for those out of the Bay Area, right? And then they added a photo right there. So think about how powerful this is. When all her friends see this, plus they're going to tag you, so all your friends see this. And here's something that not a lot of people think about. I want you guys to think a little step further into this. Think about for future employers. There's a stat I read on LinkedIn the other day. It's like 87% of employers research you on social media before they hire you. Right? So now imagine they research Marcus and they look on Marcus's Facebook. And guess where they're going to research you, right? They're going to research you on Facebook and things like that, right? So imagine them going to Marcus's homepage and they start scrolling down and they just see all these satisfied customers talking about how great Marcus is, tagging them on their posts. And then when they look at your resume, they're like, oh, you weren't lying. You were a stud over there at Cutco, right? And it just looks really good. But also by that happening, right? Because if you're doing demos every week, and even if you're just getting like 2 or 3 customers to post about you on Facebook on a weekly basis, it starts to catch wind. It starts to build momentum, right? Because now when your friends and family are seeing this, maybe like people that you haven't done a demo with, right? They automatically start becoming more curious. They're like, oh, what is Joshua doing? What is James doing? What is Paulina doing over there? Oh, maybe I should do a demo. Everybody's happy. Everyone's getting it, right? So it starts to build this relevance on there. So I'll share the Facebook approach and scripts into the WhatsApp once we're done here today. But also this is something that's really important when you're posting on Facebook. Make sure you add a picture. It just helps the algorithm Facebook's algorithm rewards pictures with letters, with paragraphs. So make sure you don't just have a big paragraph on there. Like everything helps, but if you can add a photo, either the customer adds a photo of their knives or a selfie of you guys, that helps the algorithm a lot better. So it'll pop up on people's timelines a lot better right there. Okay. All right. So does this help a little bit? All right, perfect. So yeah, Facebook is huge. Facebook is a monster. All right, I've seen people post on Facebook. Like we have Jeremy Blau in our division. He's the king of Facebook posts. I saw him like literally sell a homemaker set in the comments, right? And it's awesome. All right, so let's kind of talk about when you're making your phone calls and everything like this. So this is phoning formula for success. I want you guys to just include Facebook as part of your like phone jam routine, right? So like these are all the different phone jams right here and everything like that. So we have like the Sunday Kickstart phone jam 6 to 8 p.m. Tuesday Head Start phone jam 6 to 8, Thursday Moneymaker phone jam 6 to 8. Your last demo, no later than 4:30 on the phone jam days. So you want to make sure you don't miss these phone jams, right? So that's why you have demos ahead of you. Because the number one way to get more recommendations, have more people to call, is to do more demos. That's why this is on here. Because if you're not doing demos, if you're not seeing people, you're not going to get more recommendations. And from coaching representatives for 8 years, one thing I've also learned is sometimes when you get down to like the last bit of people on your list, you kind of want to like save them. And that's the wrong approach to do it. Like your next phone jam, just call every single human being that you have to call. Like if you're like, John, I only have like 10 people on my list, or I have 20. Some of you guys might be in a healthier spot. I have 40, I have 60, I have 100. Call them all. Get through all of them as quickly as you can, because that's going to be more appointments ahead of you, especially after this meeting. Like here's the way that you guys can compliment me or say thank you for running this meeting for you guys, is to do a lot of demos this week and not let all this information go to waste. Right? Because now you get to go imagine doing 10 appointments after this meeting with everything you just learned and putting it into action. Oh, you're gonna set yourself up for a beautiful finish to the year and a strong start to the new year. Okay. Then, you want to incorporate some morning phone time in there. The champions clubs. Raise your hand if you've been to a champions club. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's why you guys are rock stars. All right. I love it. All right. And then, just any day, just get some extra phone time in there any day. But also at the end of your phone calls, at your end of your phone calls, I want you to get some Facebook posts in or some Facebook messages. So with your current friends list on Facebook, or if your mom is supportive or dad's supportive, go to your parents' Facebook friends or significant other, whoever it is, go to their Facebook friends list and start messaging people on there. Right? If it's like your mom or dad, like message the people that you know or the people that are aware of you. If it's a complete stranger, I'll probably get permission from your parents first, but start messaging them. So could you incorporate 10 messages and getting one person to post every phone jam? Think about that. How sweet would that be, Sherlyn? So now you have all the layers starting to build up. So he's like, all right, I made calls. I got my 10 messages out. One of the people I messaged or called, I got them to throw up a post for me. All right. So let me kind of go over the 50-50 rule here. 50% recs, 50% phone calls. All right. 50% recs, 50% is your sales. Sorry. And this is the thing that's important to understand. So that's why we're talking about these two topics, is recommendations and sales. That's really what the job is. That's 50% of your job is to get more referrals. The other 50% is to make more sales. Okay. So normally when you sell a homemaker, usually are able to give around like $200 worth of free stuff. right? So, or typically for every $1,000 you sell, it's like 20 points per 100, right? So you usually are able to get around $200 worth of free stuff. So now what I'm going to teach you guys is the kitchen system. And it's going to give you the ability to be able to give $300. So like an extra $100 more worth of free stuff to help you close more orders with $1,000 order. Okay. Now, the kitchen system, here's where you're going to place the kitchen system. This is going to be, you're going to share the kitchen system before you share the homemaker set. All right. Like this is your new starting point, is the kitchen system in your demo. Now, some of you guys that might be more advanced, you might show the ultimate and signature first, then the kitchen system, and then the homemaker. But it's always like the kitchen system is the next thing. And this is what you're presenting to the customer. And here's what the kitchen system is. The customer is buying a homemaker +8. They're buying an entertainer pack, and they're buying the super shares. So we're presenting this as a package. All right, we're presenting this as a package. And the reason why we decided to do this is because most customers, they want either the entertainer pack or the shares, right? Like those are just like the most popular ones. And, they're like, man, if there's any way like I could get both of these, right? But that's too many bonus points, right? And we want to increase our average order. We want to increase, our income for that one appointment. Okay. So this is the kitchen system. And I'm going to show you guys how to present this. And I'm going to give you guys a script on this as well. So let me just get the script for you guys here real quick. Okay. So now when the customers purchase the kitchen system, they actually get $350 worth of free stuff with it. All right. They get $350 worth of free stuff with it, which is pretty awesome. All right. I just saw the Sammy, right? You need to get your mom to post on Facebook for sure. All right. So I just posted the script right here for the kitchen system. So now in your demo, right here where you normally say this, as I said earlier, the homemaker +8 is our most popular set. We're going to take this out and we're going to plug it in with the kitchen system phrase right here before this. Okay. So let me put up the script here, and then I'll just have you guys kind of follow along with me as we go through the kitchen system script. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen okay. All right, perfect. You guys are all alive. Good. Okay. So Cutco owners will tell you that it's 10 times better than any knives I've ever used. Just considering the guarantee and the unique features, most people would agree that Cutco is at least twice as good as Wusthof. When something offers twice the quality and value and lasts forever, you'd expect it to be at least twice the price. At twice the price, you're talking over $4,000 for a set of Cutco. Now, Mrs. Jones, let me show you what you can get for that. And you got to remember, they're thinking the Wusthof price of $4,000, right? So as I said earlier, our homemaker +8 is our most popular set, and it comes in our kitchen system. It's a customer favorite. It's perfect for families that cook 2 to 4 times a week. The kitchen system comes with the 10 basic tools I explained earlier, 8 table knives, the wood block, and a sharpener for your straight edges. It also includes the entertainer pack, which includes the cheese knife, peeler, ice cream scooper, and pizza cutter, and the super shears. Now, the great thing is the kitchen system doesn't cost $4,000. In fact, it doesn't even cost as much as Wustof's price of $3,100. The kitchen system is only $1,947 paid in full, which includes shipping, but most customers prefer to take it for a test drive first to try it out. And they can take advantage of our 5-month interest-free easy pay option, which is only $391 today, and that includes tax. Now, also, if you try it out today, you also get a bonus of free Cutco for the amount of your first deposit. So I can include up to $350 worth of free Cutco on your order whenever you give it a try today. Now, Mrs. Jones, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you. Would you like to try out the kitchen system today and get your free Cutco shopping spree? And this is where you smile and nod. Wait for their answer. If they say yes, this is where you would want to try to upsell to a signature or an ultimate. If no, maybe you need to think about it. You go through the objection handlers. Okay. Now, if they say yes on the kitchen system, basically you just enter it in, homemaker plus 8, entertainer pack, shears. Plus they get $350 worth of free stuff. So usually they choose the kitchen tools. Boom, you're all done. Now, if you were to drop down from the kitchen system, then you show them the mini kitchen system. Okay, so you drop down to the regular homemaker with one of those free items. All right, so for example, a mini kitchen system would be a homemaker and then the entertainer pack, and then we give them the shears for free. Does that make sense? Right, and then we drop down to just a homemaker from there. So now when we look at this, one second here. If we come back here to this drop down, so we're showing the kitchen system, then we show the mini kitchen system, and then it's the homemaker. So just by doing that, we're starting higher and we're giving them more options. Now, how does that make the homemaker look? It makes it look small. So now, like sometimes, Laura, you're gonna have a customer kind of like apologize, like, I'm sorry, I can't do the kitchen system today. I'll just do the basic homemaker. And then you're like, all right, cool. That's what I wanted you to get anyways, right? But then also by starting higher, right, you're opening yourself up to having a bigger average order, right? Because now the customer's like, oh yeah, that's a no-brainer. I get all this stuff for only $19.87 for sure. Okay, so that's the kitchen system. How do you guys like that? All right, and the CPO is always over 1,000. How about that? Even better, right? Because like sometimes you sell a homemaker, but then after you give out some free stuff, you're like, dang it, it's like 9 something CPO or 8 something CPO. So this is how you always get $1,000 average order. Okay, so I'm gonna have a little contest for you guys. All right, but let me just recap the prices for you guys in case you want to write it down in your notes. So the kitchen system is $19.47. It's only $391 on the 5-pay, which comes down to $97 per week. Most people blow $100 just eating out per week. Okay, and again, here's how we got we just added the kitchen tools or the entertainer pack and the super shears. That's how we got the $19.47. Here's the mini kitchen system price. So the mini kitchen system, remember, is the homemaker plus 8 and the entertainer pack. That's going to be $18.81 on the 5-pay. It's $364, which comes down to about $90 per week. And the mini kitchen system, we're giving the shears for free. So they can either pay for the entertainer pack and the shears and get a $350 shopping spree, or we do a mini kitchen system and they just get the shears for free. All right, thumbs up. Everybody got that? Perfect. Okay, so right here, just to kind of recap, right? We start with the kitchen system, go mini kitchen system, then you show the regular homemaker, right? Homemaker with some free products, then you go into the homemaker discount. All right, so that's the friends and family special or trade-in special, whatever you were taught, and then we would drop down to the gallery. But either way, no matter what, your average order is going to start to increase just by you incorporating this, because you're showing more options at a higher price. All right. So let's talk about what's important now as I kind of wrap everything up right now. So was this good? Did anybody learn something today? All right, awesome. Awesome. That's all I want to know. I just want to make sure everyone learned something. All right, but here's what's important right now. Champs Club. So I already took attendance here from today. So now what I want to see is like, all right, who's ready to get after it? Who's going to be at Champs Club tomorrow? All right. So for those of you guys that don't know when Champs Clubs is or timing, let me just kind of recap for you. It's Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. All right. The first hour, we're booking demos, right? We're booking demos. We're making phone calls. Have any of you guys ever been on the freeway at 8 a.m.? Yeah, it's packed, right? Traffic, right? That's when the traffic starts forming. So people are up. People are up. Sometimes, like, like a misconception, people are like, oh, it's too early to make calls. No, that's the perfect time to make calls because people are up. They're sitting in traffic. They're in the Starbucks line. Have you guys seen the Starbucks line at that time? Oh my goodness, right? So those are the people you want to talk to. All right. Those are the people that you want to talk to when they're up and getting ready for their day. So 8 to 9 is when we're making the phone calls. All right. 9 to 9:30 is the teaching topic. Okay. So come book demos, come learn, come keep growing. All right. The next thing here is making sure you're part of all the chats. All right. Sorry, I got a lot of chats here that I'm trying to get through. But yeah, making sure that you're part of all the chats. All right, making sure you're a part of all the chats. So this SLDM chat, you guys are all in there. Now, let's utilize this chat to help everybody get better. I want you guys to push each other. I want you guys to hold each other accountable in there. So this is another one of my favorite quotes: "No pressure, no diamonds." All right, no pressure, no diamonds. So I want this chat to kind of be some positive pressure for you guys, right? We're all on the Zoom call together. You all kind of got this eye up your competition, and I want you guys to push each other. If you have questions, feel free to throw it in that chat, right? This is like, now you guys have got a chance to expose to like the next level group, and you guys are all in this phase right here, the people that you learn with. All right, so these are the circles of influence you'll hear us talk about a lot. Who are you learning from? Right. So that's going to be like your district manager. Right. That's going to be Jay Brad. That's going to be Evan, the people that you're learning from. The people that you're learning with is you guys right here. And here's what I expect from this group specifically is you guys to be the next people that start teaching the new representatives that join the team. Right. So now the people that you teach for, because the fastest way for you to learn all this stuff, Josh, is to start teaching others, right? Like implementing it and then teaching the other people around you. Okay. Also remember, partner with your manager. All right. Your manager, they are your cheat code. Those of you guys that love to play video games, this is your cheat code. This is your map to success in our company, is just partner with your manager, because they got your back. They got your back whether you think so or not, and they just want to see you succeed. They want to help you guys grow. All right. The other thing is personal recruits. How many friends do you have on the team? How many friends do you have on the team? As a representative, and still to this day, I'm always referring people to the position because I love this opportunity. This opportunity changed my life. Right. This is what takes care of my daughters. Right. So it's like I want other people to have that same opportunity. And like what people don't know, it's like this is like my first week back at work. I've been traveling for the past like 2 to 3 weeks, from Mexico City to Las Vegas for the Raiders game to San Luis Obispo. Like I've been all over the place. I love this opportunity. And people always message on my Instagram. They're like, John, what the heck do you do? So nice, baby. Right. So it's awesome. It's a great freaking opportunity. It's amazing. It's fun. I love to do it. All right. So it's like, get other people around you. It makes the job way more fun when you work with your closest friends. Okay. Now, how many of you guys like contests? All right. So this is, I don't know. I don't feel the energy from everybody. Isaiah, when's your background get so dark, man? Oh, there you are. All right. Cool. So I got a contest for you guys. I love to do contests, by the way. All right. So I want to end this with a pretty cool contest for you guys. First one to sell the kitchen system. First one to sell the kitchen system. You have a choice. You have a choice. You either get $150 worth of Cutco, or you get a one-on-one with Evan. Cool. Evan or Jay Brad. I don't know. Right. But you get a one-on-one with one of them. Right. And by the way, they won't be offended if you choose the Cutco. But if it was me, I would say choose the one-on-one with them. All right. But it's up to you. So the first person to sell the kitchen system, you got to post it into the SLDM chat. Okay. Post it into the SLDM chat. Tag me, tag John Baker in there. Like, John, I just sold the kitchen system. I don't know how excited you guys are. Maybe someone will do it tonight. All right. Maybe this will motivate you to get onto the phones right now and book a demo for first thing in the morning after Champs Club. And you're like, I'm going to be that first one. Okay. And just review the scripts and everything that I went over with you guys. It's going to be awesome. Okay. Remember to set up a three-way with your manager and the division manager. So just message your manager. If you haven't done a three-way networking message with your DVM, go ahead and message your manager right now. It's just like, hey, I need to meet Jay Brad. I need to meet Evan. And then keep working on all that stuff. So go ahead and write these down, your final to-dos, and then I'll get you guys out of here. So go ahead and write down, use the info. So implement only two to three tips only. I know I just went over a lot of information with you guys pretty quickly here. So just implement 2 to 3 tips. Maybe you're focused on the kitchen system. Maybe it's some of those referral tips, right? Don't try to implement everything all at once, because then what that happens is you just have a sloppy demo. All right. So just focus on adding a couple things at a time. Be at the next divisional event. Be at the next divisional event. So you'll see some communications come through your ways, from all the team chats and everything like that. So make sure you're engaged in there. Message your three-way chat what you're excited about after today's event. So this is if you already have a three-way chat with the division manager and your manager. Go ahead and post in there like, hey, what are you excited about? So for some of you guys, you're like, oh, I want to be an assistant manager. Others of you guys, you're like, eventually I want to take the leap, John. Some of you guys, you're like, I want to become a CGC. I want to sell business to business. Some of you guys might want to be a district manager like me. Whatever it is, right? Go share that with your manager. Let them know what you're excited about, because by you partnering with them, they can make that path a lot more clear for you. And then this is the last one. I just ask everybody to do a big favor for me. In the SLDM chat on WhatsApp, go ahead and post your light bulbs there. All right, go ahead and post your light bulbs in here. And anytime you hear me say light bulbs in our division, what we're referring to is your takeaways. All right, is your takeaways on what you learned here. Other than that, you guys, thank you guys for being in attendance today. Thank you guys for choosing to grow. All right, thank you guys for choosing to grow. I'm excited to build with you guys. 2024 is going to be great. December is going to be even better, because we're going to finish strong and we're going to move up on those charts. Other than that, take care. Have a good day, everybody. Feel free to message me on WhatsApp. You guys have my info in there, so just look in the WhatsApp chat. You guys are more than welcome to message me for help or tips, all that good stuff. Adios. Get off my Zoom.